Hi, welcome back. We are going to see now how we can compute scores in SPSS. And of course, computing score is very important when we have scales and for our further analyses. So here I have opened this dataset file, which is the same we've been working on already, but you'll find again this data file on Blackboard. Okay, so in this data set here I have, we're still working here on the QCAE, which is an empathy questionnaire, and we have 31 items, but these items belong to different subscales, right? So if I have a look here at the original article, sorry about that, on the original article here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let me zoom in a little, okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 subscales, right? And so I need to compute five scores here. Okay, so let's actually do this. I'm trying to manage the space here. Okay, well, good enough, I guess. Okay, so we have different scores to compute. Let us start already. So what we have to do is go into transform, compute variable, because we will create a new variable essentially. And so that new variable here will be the first score, and this first score, will be perspective taking. Okay, so let us see, let's call it PT, right? Let's call it rather QCAE PT. Okay, QCAE PT. Remember, in variable names in SPSS, we should not use spaces. We can use underscores, but not spaces, and also we should not use variable names that are too long. So QCAE PT is appropriate. In type and label, if I need to remember what that is, I can add a label here. Let's call it perspective taking. Okay, and that will be the label for my variable, which is what is going to show up, for example, if I'm creating graphs based on these scores. Okay, so we'll click on continue here, and it essentially works the same way as EXO. We have to create a formula here. So if you don't remember what formula you have to use, you can have a look here at all the formulas that SPSS has, and notably if you click all and then scroll down, you will see that we have a mean. We have two functions that are very useful, of course, and one is a mean. Let me see it. It's right here. So we have a mean function. The other one is a sum function. So to create scores, we usually either need sums or means. I strongly encourage you to use means instead of sums. The reason for that is that when you compute sums over data with missing values, a missing value is just like a zero for a sum, right? Whereas if you use a mean, it will just not be counted into the mean. So obviously this is what we want. So especially in cases where you do have some missing data, such as our case here, we don't want to use the sum function. So let's scroll down to the mean function. Okay, let's double click. Okay, so it essentially looks like this. We need to say whether it's a mean of something or something and something else, and it will all be separated by commas. So here I just have to add different variable names separated by commas. So I could type them directly, but I can also go here into the list and double click on them. So let's see which are the ones I need. They are right here. So 15, QCA 15, so let me scroll down, QCA 15, I'm double clicking, then I'm writing comma, 16, scrolling down, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, I can then directly press OK, and that would compute a mean of all these scores. There's another refinement that is very interesting in SPSS, is that we can ask SPSS to compute a mean only if there are a certain number of values that exist in our dataset. In other words, here, if a participant has only responded to this item and not to the other ones, The mean here will be just the value, the observed response for this item, right? But the mean would not mean much. And you agree to that because here the participant has only responded to one item. So we can ask SPSS to only compute a mean if there are a certain number of values. So here, for example, I can ask that SPSS only computes a mean if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 scores. So I can tell SPSS to compute a mean if we have 10 scores, and this is written as such, right? Mean dot and the number of values that I need to compute a mean. So I can ask here that SPSS only computes a mean when I have values, when I have responses for all the items, but I could also ask if I have responses for half of the items, right? For five of the items. And so here let me just add the entire number of items, right? So the mean, if I have 10 values of the observations on these 10 variables separated by commas. The next step, of course, I can just paste my syntax if I need to reuse it again. Once again, if I have new values, that's very useful. Here I don't need to, so I'll just click OK. And here, if I have a look, it's a mess, but if I have a look here at my data set, I have created a new variable that is right here, and that is the mean if I have all the values of all these items, the perspective taking items. So let's see an example of where it hasn't computed a mean. Let me try to see one. Trying to figure out an example. Let's have 15, 16, 19, 20, okay. Okay, for example, here, participant number 79 has responses here on the 15th item, but not on the 16th. So normally, SPSS should not have computed a score for perspective taking for this participant. And if I scroll right here, I see that SPSS hasn't computed a score. Okay, thank you for watching this video.